The bold and the beautiful has always thrived on shock, passion, and betrayal, but what's potentially brewing now threatens to upend the entire playing field in one masterful, jaw-dropping move. Fans have barely recovered from the emotional whiplash of Liam's terminal diagnosis and Hope's rekindled connection with Carter, when a new theory is beginning to gain serious traction, a theory that could send shockwaves through every family in Los Angeles. What if Hope Logan is pregnant? And the father is Carter Walton? This isn't just idle speculation, it's the kind of slow-burning setup that B&B has turned into an art form. A brief, emotionally charged moment between Hope and Carter seemed, at first, like a detour from heartbreak. A mistake, perhaps. A fleeting escape. But what if that moment wasn't just a bump in the road? What if it was the beginning of everything? Hope has always followed her heart, even when it's led her into disaster. After all the chaos with Thomas, after the breakdown of her marriage to Liam, after standing beside a man she loves while he quietly prepares to die, it would be entirely in character for her to seek comfort, if only briefly, in someone who truly sees her. Carter has been there. Patient, constant, open. The chemistry sparked quickly, burned hot, and seemed to disappear as quickly as it came. But what if it didn't disappear? What if it left something behind? If Hope is pregnant with Carter's child, it will be the single biggest plot twist of the year. It will change everything: her future, Carter's trajectory, Liam's dying days, and the balance of power at Forrester Creations. This would not be a subtle ripple. This would be a narrative earthquake. Let's consider the fallout. For Hope, the news would hit like a freight train. She's still grieving Liam's inevitable death. She's just starting to find emotional footing with Carter again. She's been keeping it together for her children, for her mother, for everyone. A pregnancy now wouldn't just upend her routine, it would force her to confront her choices, her heart, and her own future all at once. She would be thrust into a position where she has to decide what she wants, not just for herself, but for her growing family. Does she pursue a relationship with Carter out of duty or out of genuine love? Can she love again so soon? Does she even want to? And then there's Carter. This storyline could be the long-overdue turning point for a character who has spent too long in the margins. After officiating more weddings than anyone in LA and getting left at the altar or rejected more times than he can count, Carter has been the good guy waiting for life to finally give him a break. A baby with hope? That's not just a plotline, it's a destiny. It's a chance for Carter to have what he's wanted for years, a family of his own. A child. A real partner. A future that doesn't revolve around helping others find their happiness while his slips away. It would be a jolt of purpose, a seismic shift in how we see Carter and how he sees himself. Of course, not everyone would be cheering. Brooke Logan, who has very clear ideas about how her daughter's life should unfold, would no doubt have something to say. If anyone's going to sound the alarm on Hope moving too fast or throwing herself into another emotional firestorm, it's Brooke. She might be concerned, even disappointed, but she'd also protect her daughter fiercely. And if a grandchild is involved, that protective instinct might just override everything else. Steffi Forrester would almost certainly be blindsided. Her temporary truce with Hope has been rooted in shared grief and mutual love for Liam, but this kind of news could fracture that fragile peace. Especially if it looks like Hope has moved on too quickly, or if Steffi feels that Carter, someone so close to Forrester business, is being pulled away from their inner circle. It could spark a whole new war between the Logans and the Forresters. Again. Then there's Liam. If Hope finds out she's pregnant while Liam is still alive, the consequences would be unbearable. Liam, facing the end, trying to make peace, to find meaning in his final days, how would he respond to the revelation that the woman he loves, the mother of his child, is now carrying someone else's baby? It could devastate him. Or it could give him permission to let go. It all depends on how the story is framed. If Hope is honest, if she explains the timing, the context, the pain, it might bring closure. But if the truth comes out in pieces, if Liam hears it from someone else, it could fracture everything. And worst of all, what if he dies before he ever finds out? There's also the specter of Thomas Forrester. Though he's been off-screen recently, a bombshell like this could easily bring him storming back into town. Thomas has always carried a deep, complicated torch for Hope. Seeing her move forward with Carter, especially if they're having a child together, could unleash a version of Thomas we haven't seen in years. Jealous, impulsive, unstable. Or perhaps mature, evolved, and ready to fight for the woman he still believes he was meant to be with. Either way, his return would set the stage for explosive drama. A Hope and Carter baby also raises corporate stakes. Carter isn't just a romantic interest, he's COO of Forrester Creations. Hope runs her own fashion line under the Forrester umbrella. Their union, even through co-parenting, could consolidate power in a way that rattles the company's hierarchy. Ridge, Steffi, even Eric, depending on his health, would have opinions. Some might see it as a liability. Others might see it as the next chapter in a legacy built on fashion, family, and scandal. And that's what makes this storyline so potent. It's not just about who slept with whom. It's about legacy. It's about love born out of grief. It's about second chances that come wrapped in the most unexpected package. And in the high-stakes world of B&B, it's exactly the kind of twist that could carry the show through summer and beyond. We've seen babies shift the course of this series before. We've seen paternity scandals, secret pregnancies, last-minute DNA tests, and custody battles that rip through every character. But this one would hit differently. Because it's coming at a time when hearts are already raw. When viewers are already mourning. When the audience is already preparing to say goodbye to Liam. Dropping a pregnancy storyline now wouldn't just be shocking, it would be emotionally nuclear. So, is it just a theory? Maybe. But consider the timing. Consider the setup. Consider the silence. The pieces are already on the board. All it would take is one positive test, and everything changes. Hope would no longer be the grieving widow. Carter would no longer be the heartbroken side character. Liam's memory would linger over every scene. And the rest of Los Angeles? They'd be scrambling to catch up. Because when the bold and the beautiful decides to drop a bomb, it doesn't whisper. It detonates. And if this is where the story is going, fans better brace themselves. Because a baby changes everything. Just when the dust was starting to settle, and just as the Hope and Carter pregnancy bombshell threatened to realign the entire emotional landscape of the bold and the beautiful, the story takes an even darker, more gut-wrenching turn. What began as a shock pregnancy? An unexpected twist that seemed poised to finally give Carter the family he always dreamed of and offer Hope a future built from heartbreak, shatters in the most devastating way possible. Hope receives news that no one saw coming. She has liver cancer. And, because of the aggressiveness of the disease and the urgency of treatment, she cannot carry the baby to term. The pregnancy must be terminated to save her life. The news hits like a sledgehammer. Hope, who was just beginning to wrap her head around the idea of becoming a mother again, who was starting to imagine a future with Carter, now finds herself staring at two unbearable truths. She is seriously ill, and she's going to lose her baby. Her body, already fatigued from the stress of Liam's looming death and the emotional volatility surrounding her life, is now the site of a battle she never expected to fight. The cancer is fast-moving. Treatment must begin immediately. And with it comes the unthinkable decision. To survive, she must say goodbye to the child growing inside her. The doctors are clear. There is no way to wait. There is no safe window. If Hope delays treatment, she puts her life at immediate risk. But terminating the pregnancy, ending the possibility of a new life, comes with an emotional cost that Hope is not prepared for. The pain is indescribable. The choice is impossible. But it has to be made. Carter is by her side when the news comes. At first, he doesn't speak. His face drains of color. His mouth opens, but no words come. All he can do is sit there, stunned, heart crushed under the weight of a future he can see slipping away in real time. Carter has wanted this, a child, for as long as he can remember. He's watched others have families, officiated their weddings, toasted to their babies. He's watched the love of his life slip through his fingers more than once. And now, when he finally had something real, something of his own, it's being ripped away. The loss isn't just medical. It's spiritual. It's a grieving that cuts to his core. Hope, seeing his devastation, tries to remain strong. She tells him he doesn't have to stay. That if he wants to walk away, she understands. But Carter doesn't move. He kneels beside her and takes her hands, tears streaking silently down his face. "I'm not going anywhere," he says. "We'll get through this." You're not alone. But no matter how close they hold each other, nothing can stop the heartbreak that follows. The procedure is scheduled quickly. The emotional fallout is brutal. Hope becomes withdrawn. She stops answering calls. She won't see Brooke. She cancels meetings at Forrester. Even Beth begins to sense something is deeply wrong. Hope tries to smile, tries to carry on, but she's a shell of herself. The pain of losing her unborn child, of being robbed of a future that had just begun to take shape, is compounded by the physical toll of cancer treatment. Carter does everything he can. He brings her home-cooked meals. He sits with her through chemotherapy. He reads to Beth when Hope is too tired to stay awake. But he's hurting, too. He walks the halls of his apartment in the dead of night, staring at the sonogram he wasn't supposed to see. He visits the nursery department at stores he no longer has a reason to shop in. He doesn't talk to anyone, not Ridge, not Zend, not even Steffi. The grief is private. Raw. Personal. Brooke finally confronts him, demanding to know how bad it really is. He breaks down in her arms. "I thought we had a chance," he whispers. "I thought maybe this was it. And now she's in pain, and I can't fix it." Meanwhile, the Forrester family is shaken. Ridge, who was skeptical of Hope and Carter's relationship from the beginning, doesn't know how to respond. He sees Carter showing up, taking care of Hope, and realizes that this isn't some rebound fling. This is love. Real, tested love. Steffi, hearing about Hope's illness, immediately steps up. The tension between them is gone. There's no room for rivalry now. Steffi brings Beth over for more frequent visits, makes sure Hope knows she's not alone, offers to step in at the fashion line so Hope can focus on recovery. And then there's Liam. He's still in Switzerland, still undergoing experimental treatment. Hope hasn't told him what's happened, not yet. He's too fragile, too far away. But in the quiet hours of her recovery, she writes him a letter. In it, she tells the truth. About the baby, about Carter, about the cancer. She doesn't ask for understanding. She doesn't ask for forgiveness. She just wants him to know. Because when he was dying, she was there. And if he lives, he deserves the truth. The baby that was supposed to change everything is gone. The future that felt so close is now uncertain again. But even in the wreckage, something remains. Hope begins to heal. Slowly, painfully, with every passing week, her body responds to treatment. The prognosis is cautious, but optimistic. She starts designing again. She visits the garden. She reads with Beth. She laughs quietly, unsure at first. And Carter is still there. Not pushing. Not asking for more. Just there. Steady. Unwavering. They grieve together. They heal together. And in time, they begin to dream again, not of what could have been, but of what still might be. Because this is the bold and the beautiful, and while the storms are vicious, the sun always returns. Even when the heart breaks, it still beats. And love, no matter how bruised, doesn't die, it endures. Hope and Carter's story isn't over. It's just beginning again.